is because of Dwight Howard.
Anderson would be the first to admit that. Meanwhile, that was the 4th foul against Amundsen. Indiana with 5 team fouls already in the penalty with 9:37 to go in the first half. And this is going to be a big lift for Orlando. Every time there's a foul now, they'll go to the line as Anderson will take a seat along with Richardson. Glenn Davis, for one, coming back into the ball game for the Magic.
Also for the Magic, number 15,
Hey kids, visit NBAHoopTroop.com today. Play cool games, watch exciting videos, earn points, and get information on all your favorite NBA teams and players. That's NBAHoopTroop.com. Missing the second free throw. Collison, George, Hansbrough, West, and Barbosa on the floor for Indiana.
And Mark, free throws, any open looks is so important for the Magic to capitalize on. Their margin of error is so small.
George cut up on the baseline. 2 on the shot clock. Collison has to jack one and finds nothing but net. Worked out pretty good for the Pacers. Aaron Collison was the starter for most of the regular season, as George Hill started off the year hurt. And then Collison was injured late in the season, and Hill took over. 9-point lead for Indiana. Looking to go up 3-1 in the series. Nelson with the kick out. Ed Malloy says tipped out of bounds off of the Pacers. And a timeout on the floor. 8:50 to go in the first half. Indiana with the lead by 9 when we come back.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs. Brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Maz.
ESPN bringing you 2 National League East matchups on Sunday and Monday. Sunday, it's the Phillies and Nationals. Monday at 7, it's the Phillies and the Mets. Both games available on ESPN and ESPN3. Well, a moment ago, Frank Vogel of the Pacers encouraged by his bench.
All right, good pressure, good pressure. Yeah, he's stuck, he's stuck. Solid, solid. Yeah! That's the vision I have with this unit. That's the vision. Deflections all over the place. Tempo.
Frank Vogel very happy with his bench, especially defensively. The last 7 minutes and 27 seconds, 0 field goals, only 6 free throws for the Magic.
And the drought continues after the Redick miss. 9-point lead for Indiana. Paul George on the drive. Had it knocked out of bounds off of Glenn Davis. It'll be Pacer basketball with 12 on the shot clock. George to inbound. West couldn't get it back from Barbosa. And the Pacers turn it over. Just the 6th of the ball game. Nelson from the feed of Davis, and the lid still on the basket for Orlando. They haven't scored in over 8 minutes, a field goal anyway. Here's Collison. West on the baseline and rebounded by Clark. Orlando has missed its last 8 field goals. Turkoglu's turn. Make it 9 and 10 as Clark couldn't get the tip to go. Collison gets drilled by Glenn Davis. We're seeing if he's okay. And when you get hit by Glenn Davis, that's 290 pounds of heat coming your way.
Nice aggressive play by Darren Collison after another stop. Indiana paces out in transition. Nice hard playoff foul by Glenn Davis. But at the other end, the Orlando Magic, it's just so tough to generate offense each and every time off the dribble. You know, and earlier, Mark, you said Jameer Nelson had to go out because of foul trouble. But I'll tell you what, it's tough to defend a pick and roll defensively, but offensively to run it every time down wears you out physically as well. You're cutting, you're splitting, you're trying to get to the rim and find guys each and every time down the court. It's taking its toll on the Orlando Magic as the Pacers have much more depth. And we're seeing that transpire here in the second quarter.
And Van Gundy trying to press the right button right now as Darren Collison at the foul line.
He just doesn't have many buttons to push.
Yeah. Collison had 10 points and a couple of assists in game 3. 11-point advantage for the Pacers. Orlando came out early and was shooting well and had an early lead. Here's Davis on the drive. And Big Baby on the pick and roll.
It's a different pick and roll without Roy Hibbert standing at the rim. Right there, Glenn Big Baby Davis rolled and had a free run to the basket for an open layup. Different story when Roy Hibbert's in there.
West working against Anderson. This is a matchup that the Pacers like. David West shows you why he was an all-star. Knocks down the mid-range jumper, the lead back to 11.
And David West likes that matchup as well. Nice fadeaway jump shot. Great addition by Larry Bird to the Pacer team. Not just on the court, but his leadership, professionalism, focus.
Vogel calls him the consummate pro. A whistle and a blocking foul against Tyler Hansbrough as Jameer Nelson goes careening to the court.
Here we see a nice high pick and roll. Jameer Nelson comes off, little pocket pass, and Big Baby gets all the way to the rim. He's happy not to see the 7-footer Roy Hibbert standing there.
Boy, what a rise to prominence for Glenn Big Baby Davis, and what a season it's been for him. It's been tumultuous at times, and dealing with the death of his biological father, his grandmother, a 2-game suspension for a little bit of insubordination with head coach Stan Van Gundy, and to go from a bench player to where he is right now, leading the team and scoring at over 18 points a game. And boy, what a season it's been for him. And here's a listen in to Stan a few moments ago.
Hey, we got to get some stops. Look, they've hit some tough contested ones. Hang in there, all right? They're not getting a lot of easy stuff. We started the game running. Now we're not running because we're not getting any stops. That's right.
He wants the energy to be on the defensive end and the offensive end. The problem is they exert so much energy on the offensive end just to generate a shot.
Collison got an open look that time. The possession for the Pacers. Lob inside, and Hibbert with that length converts the layup. He's got 6. Lead back up to double digits. We talked about having to work for every bucket, Chris, at the offensive end if you're Orlando. They've been outscored 40-2 on fast break points in the last couple of games. As Davis is fouled, he'll go to the line. And Baby's been putting in a lot of minutes, too. He was telling us prior to the game, spent 6 hours yesterday, Glenn Davis did, in a hyperbaric chamber. Now, if they had those oxygen chambers around when you were playing, you might still be balling, right?
No, it's going to take a little bit more than that. Come on now.
I was giving you the benefit of the doubt.
No. But I'll tell you what, I'd say it's a pretty tight squeeze in that hyperbaric chamber for the Big Baby. But you're trying to do everything to maintain his conditioning and get the soreness out. And he's tremendous. He is. When he plays without Dwight Howard, he's a consistent 18-point, 10-rebound guy.
That's the vision that he had when he initially signed with Orlando. Not how you start, it's how you finish. Right now, Indiana with a 9-point lead as we approach the midway point of the first half. Ranger looking inside to Hibbert. 3 on the shot clock. And Davis fouls David West with a second to go on the shot clock. Much to the disbelief of Davis, his second personal foul. Timeout on the floor. Back to Orlando right after this. Orlando down by 9, just under 6 minutes to go here in the first half of play. Mark Jones courtside along with Hall of Famer Chris Mullin, and Stan Van Gundy had to remake the offense without Dwight Howard, but it has a very familiar look to it. Last 3 plays.
Doesn't have many options. Everything results in a high pick and roll or a side pick and roll, different angles, but the result is the same. It's attacking off the dribble with the defense set. And that's a problem when you have a good defensive team like the Indiana Pacers. Time and time again, it's really the same play. It gives the defense so much time to prepare, and in the playoff series, to be able to take that away. And what do you go to next? Not many options for Stan Van Gundy.
Vogel remarking after game 2 that the Magic had run almost 100 different pick and rolls in a game, and that's going to be a traveling violation against Hibbert.
And what the Pacers have decided to do is play the pick and roll with 2 people, stay home with the 3-point shooters, and make Jameer Nelson try and finish over Roy Hibbert or David West, and they'll live with that tough shot. Good strategy by Frank Vogel.
Indiana, the top defensive team going into the weekend in these playoff games in points per 100 possessions. Nelson fires away and rebounded by Hibbert.
So all these things we're seeing from the Orlando Magic, it's nice when you have an inside-out attack. Now with the inside attack being Dwight Howard, sideline with back surgery, you really just a perimeter-oriented, attacking off the dribble team offensively.
Granger on the drive. Rebound by Nelson. Turkoglu and Hito with the sweet left-handed layup.
But they won't give up. They'll play hard. And now we're in a 7-point game.
Magic trying to even this series at 2 games apiece, and that's going to be an offensive foul against Danny Granger.
Here's Jameer once again off the dribble. A little trailing Hito Turkoglu. Roy Hibbert stuck at the free throw line. Easy layup for Hito Turkoglu.
And Gundy makes the call. Orlando making its 6th consecutive playoff series appearance. Anderson underneath in traffic, and he draws the foul. Ryan Anderson getting his shot off in a different fashion that time. The foul on Hibbert.
Well, that time he set the pick, ran to the baseline. It was a motion. It was a nice play designed by Stan Van Gundy. A little wrinkle.
Anderson, the winner of this year's Most Improved Player Award, edging out Ersan Ilyasova of the Milwaukee Bucks, who also had a good year.
You know, sometimes when you're a shooter like Ryan Anderson, if you're struggling, one of the good things to do is just go around and start picking people. You know, get the guy to show off for you to free yourself up. Become a picker, play off the ball, play away from the basketball. That time he did that. In motion, got to work himself to the free throw line.
They cut the lead to 5. David West and Ryan Anderson really bumping down low. West with the fadeaway, got it. David West, the veteran acquired as a free agent, really perhaps the missing ingredient for this Pacer team, responding in a big way here in the playoffs. Davis with a nice show and go. Richardson, tap back out by Anderson. And another look now for Orlando. Boy, Jason Richardson looking for the post up on George Hill. A little bit shorter than him. 9 on the shot clock. Anderson goes with it. And Hibbert made him change the shot. And he gets the steal. They got numbers here. Richardson. And he's fouled by Hill. And Hill's unhappy about it. Second foul on him.
Foul on number 3, George Hill. His first penalty situation in the match.
That's the first foul on George Hill.
Good awareness there by Ryan Anderson in transition. Kept his eye on the ball. Picked off that pass. Got Jason Richardson to the free throw line.
You know, back to Ryan Anderson and Chris, you played this kind of a shooting screening to get open. But, you know, there's an old saying my dad always said, people born square don't die round. I mean, is it too much at this point for Anderson to change up his flow that much in his game?
I don't think so. I think, you know, if not just in this series, I think moving forward in his career now, he went from somewhat of an unknown player, now he's the most improved player. People are going to start focusing on him. It's going to be imperative that he adds that to his game. You can't just become a standstill shooter. They'll take that away. You have to have other options to go to.
Right now defending David West. West with the step through. Hibbert with the rebound. And cleared by Glenn Davis. Lando has cut the lead down to 5. Turkoglu guarded by West. And he knocks down the 3, and it's a 2-point game. Through the mask. And now through the cheers, Hedo Turkoglu makes it a 2-point contest. Orlando on an 11-2 run. Indiana's lead has been sliced to 2 points. With just under 3 minutes to go here in the first half, the Pacers trying to go up 3 games to 1 in this series against Orlando. Look at our leading scorers so far. Barbosa and Granger for the Pacers. Nelson and Richardson, all of them with 7 points. It kind of underscores the balanced approach that both teams pretty much use by necessity right now. Hibbert posting up on Davis. Hibbert, and he'll go to the line for a pair. Let's listen in to Frank Vogel during that last break.
We're on the road in the playoffs. Teams are going to make runs. We will answer because we're the better team.
Staying positive, staying calm. As Roy Hibbert's at the free throw line. Mark, you mentioned that the Orlando Magic got into the penalty with 9:37 left in the quarter. They've capitalized 12 of 14 from the free throw line for the Magic this quarter. The Pacers now just 3 of 5. So they got into the bonus early, capitalized, and got themselves back in this game.
And down by just 3 right now. Hibbert at the foul line knocks down a pair. The first-time All-Star. Having a good season, averaging a double-double here in the postseason. Those 9 blocked shots, a franchise record in Game 1. Granger guarding Turkoglu. Another Magic pick and roll as Daniel Orton out of Kentucky is checked into the game. Richardson knocks down the jumper. And once again, it's a 2-point contest. This has been a very resilient Orlando team. They have been through a lot, both on and off the court during the course of the season. And right now, a chance to tie it up or take the lead on a 3. Richardson for the tie.
Nice shot by Jason Richardson, but give Daniel Orton credit. The big body freed him up with a nice little pick. Just trying to give Stan Van Gundy some minutes so he can rest some of his starters. It is important to finish out this half, though. Tie game now. Finish up strong into the locker room.
And Gundy getting an explanation from Mike Callahan on that last foul as Roy Hibbert goes back to the free throw line. Been a lot of talk about, Dwight Howard going down with the back surgery and a shortage of bigs now in the USA basketball pool. And there was a thought that Roy Hibbert might be one of those invited to fill in and maybe get a spot on that roster for the upcoming Olympic Games. But because Roy Hibbert played for Jamaica, the Jamaican national team a couple summers ago, he told me prior to the game that he won't be allowed to play for USA basketball.
He would be an interesting choice. And like I said, not just his scoring and rebounding, his passing ability. The international game a little bit different than the NBA game.
Richardson with the jump shot and rebounded by the aforementioned Roy Hibbert. And Hibbert is a legit 7-2.
You mentioned his conditioning work. Nice versatility there on the slide.
West kicks it out to Hill for 3. And Pacers using their length to get another tip out. This time a better block out, and Clark with the rebound.
That was a quick shot by Danny Granger.
Didn't like it?
No. I think they get the possession, Work that possession a little bit more now. A little quick for me.
Here's Richardson now. Under a minute to go in the first half. Raising up for the three. And that's going to be a foul against Daniel Orton. His second personal foul already since checking into the game. Well, there's not a lot of bigs on the bench left there for Stan Van Gundy. Folks, coming up at the half, it's the Toyota halftime show. Guys in the studio will break down the first half of play here, and a preview of the Grizzlies and Clippers coming up next. And many people still getting over that Game 1 comeback by the Clippers. And it was interesting to see the way that Memphis was able to kind of shake that hangover and take Game 2 in Memphis.
They had to win Game 2. The only way you get over that is by winning the next game. And that was a must-win for Memphis Grizzlies. It's going to be a very interesting series to see how this thing shakes out. Now they're moving on to L.A.
And what about Caron Butler out now with a broken hand?
That hurts a lot. That's a big loss for the Clippers. But they've responded. I think Vinny Del Negro's done a real nice job. I think their expectations got a little out of hand early. They're still a growing team. But, what Chris Paul has done to that franchise is miraculous. All of a sudden, you're hearing respect and credibility associated with the LA Clippers. That in itself
been a while since they've had a playoff game out there for the Clippers. Don't forget that one coming up a little bit later on ESPN. 4-point ball game, under a minute to go. Hill guarding Turkoglu here. Boy, Hill with dogged defense out front. Orton inside, and he's fouled by David West. One of the few times, Chris, that we didn't see a pick and roll and potentially get points out of it here for the Magic.
This is where they made their hay in the second quarter, is at the free throw line. And Daniel Orton back at the free throw line for 2.
You see David West down there on the block for Indiana. He was courted eagerly by the Boston Celtics as a free agent during the offseason. He bypassed Boston and signed with Indiana. Celtic fans have since let him hear about it, but he has been a great addition here. And they told him that at times he'd have to play center. He said, I don't have a problem with it. And that's a little bit out of position. How uncharacteristic is that, Chris?
Well, he's a true pro, a leader. I think the perfect addition by Larry Bird, the GM in Indiana. Dave West was the perfect fit, the perfect guy for this team at the right time.
10 on the shot clock. There's Hansbrough. Tipped up, but it goes right to Turkoglu, and they have an opportunity here to tie the game or take the lead on a 3. A quick shot by Turkoglu. Rebounded by West, and now Indiana with a chance. 7 seconds to go. Collison. 2 to go. West has got to get it off, and he won't. It won't count. Took a little bit too long. And that's the end of the first half of play. The Indiana Pacers with a 2-point lead. And David West and his crew trying to go up 3 games to 1 in this series. Roy Hibbert with a good first half for the Indiana Pacers. 10 points to go along with 5 rebounds. He had 18 and 10 in Game 3. Richardson finally getting untracked offensively with 11 in the first half. Well, folks, don't forget, stay tuned for the Toyota halftime show coming up right after these messages. 24 minutes to play in the shadows of Disney. We're in Orlando, the Magic trailing by 2. Trying to even this series at 2 games apiece as we get ready for the start of the third quarter. And an interesting first half of play between the Magic and the Pacers. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Jones, courtside along with Hall of Famer Chris Mullin. Thanks for coming aboard this Game 4. And Stan Van Gundy, the head coach of the Magic, said that his team needed to play with more energy for this game in order for them to be successful. What kind of vital signs have we seen so far? Well, they have been pretty good as we take a look at our LensCrafters court vision. Jameer Nelson providing some of that energy, Chris.
So important for Jameer Nelson to locate his scorers, not just at the three-point line, anything they can get with ball movement and body movement here. So it was a nice backdoor pass to Jason Richardson. Beautiful find. And when the Magic gets stops, it's important to play fast, play in transition. The high pick and roll here, the pocket pass to Big Baby without Roy Hibbert. able to finish at the rim, and here in transition, Hedo Turkoglu coming down the trail in the play. Nice patience, and once again, Roy Hibbert out of the game. A free layup for the Orlando Magic.
Look at the pertinent numbers. Richardson with 11 points. Nelson with 7 on just 2 of 7 from the field. Trying to bounce back from a subpar performance in Game 3. Meanwhile, let's take a look at our Corona extra performers. And Roy Hibbert with a good first half for the Pacers. He had 10 points and 5 rebounds, coming off an 18-10 game. And he continues to be a real presence in the middle for the Indiana Pacers.
Well, it's so important. His scoring and rebounding is one thing, but the main focus of the Pacers defense is guarding the pick and roll. And anytime he's protecting the rim, it's a really tough finish for the Magic, whether it be Glenn Davis, Jameer Nelson. His presence alone is a big-time force for the Indiana defense.
A player that has continued to improve season by season, and Stan Van Gundy on the sidelines, the head coach of the Orlando Magic, team making its 6th consecutive playoff appearance. And the third quarter has been the bane of the Orlando Magic so far in this series. They have really struggled in the third quarter, the last 2 games in particular. Going -17 and -15 in point differential against the Pacers. What do you think Stan Van Gundy has told his team inside the locker room to prevent a third quarter meltdown like they've had, especially in the last game?
Well, I think he's very pleased with the effort and energy they've maintained throughout the first half, but it is important to not let this game get away here in the third quarter. Maintain their intensity, keep attacking. They attacked and got to the free throw line. That's what got them back in this game in the second quarter.
They were in the penalty early. Magic with possession here in the third. Anderson out to Nelson, just 5 on the shot clock. Good defense out front by George Hill. The pick and pop with Davis. And Big Baby missing on his first field goal attempt of the third quarter.
Nice open look, well executed play. You've got to knock those shots down. You've got to keep your turnovers down, hit all your free throws, and when you have open looks, the Orlando Magic, they don't have the ability. The margin of error is so small, they got to knock those open looks down.
Here's George. Over to Granger, over Turkoglu. Tough shot. And Danny Granger nails it. Granger, the leading scorer in this series at almost 21 points per game. Ryan Anderson working against the shorter Paul George, missing the fadeaway. That just doesn't seem to be where he's comfortable, though, Chris.
So you look at that. The Orlando Magic, 2 open looks they missed. Danny Granger takes a tough shot. He knocks it down.
Here's Hibbert.
Sometimes it's that simple.
Hibbert working against the shorter Big Baby Davis, and Roy Hibbert with a soft touch with the offhand. He's got a dozen. Turkoglu back to Davis. A little pick and pop action. And Davis missing again. David West working against Ryan Anderson, backing him down. George over to Hill. West with the pull-up. Granger for 3. Well, after making 5 threes in the last game, Danny Granger is struggling from downtown in this one.
And once again, you see the Indiana Pacer front line pounding the offensive boards, get extra possessions.
Paul George with the miss. Back up quickly, it's Richardson on the drive. And he's fouled underneath by Roy Hibbert. That's the 3rd on Hibbert.
Foul number 55, Roy Hibbert.
And Richardson is slow getting up. And Gunny was saying he was looking for more opportunities for Jay Rich coming into this game. Only 5 points in Game 3 after a great breakout performance in Game 1. The Magic finished that Game 1 performance really strong, really stealing that game down the stretch.
Well, he's capable of exploding, but it's probably going to be out here by the 3-point line.
And he lets one fly off the mark.
At one point in his career, he was a post-up guy, pretty much a perimeter scorer now, mostly from the 3-point line.
Whistle, lots of contact, and an offensive foul against David West.
Offensive foul.
He ran over Glenn Davis. Well, so says Mike Callahan, and that's West's second foul. If you're running over 290-pound Glenn Davis, you've got some force and momentum behind you.
Two big, strong, powerful forwards there.
6-point lead. Anderson finally gets one to go. Started off the game shooting it pretty good. Then went silent. Ryan Anderson, the league's most improved player with 8. And an offensive foul again against Indiana. And David West with an incredulous look at the official, Violet Palmer. Orlando well aware of the fact that they have stumbled in the third quarter in this series. Anderson underneath, and that's going to be a traveling violation. Nelson made the nice feed, but Anderson traveling with it. Hill up court for the Pacers. Indiana 8-2 with him as a starter. They finished the regular season strong with him at the point. Out to Paul George. George had it knocked out of bounds by Turkoglu with 7 on the shot clock. Granger inbounding. Hill gets the Hibbert screen. Throws up the floater. Granger got it back and one. Danny Granger off the putback. And the foul goes against Ryan Anderson. That's his third.
George Hill gets in the paint for the floater. Roy Hibbert keeps it alive. Danny Granger with the finish and one. George Hill yet to get on track yet offensively. You know, he's a guy, he's kind of a barometer for the Pacers. When he gets 14 or 15 points, their offense is usually in flow. Leandro Barbosa, another guy, when he scores in double figures, they're 11-0. George Hill yet to get off in this game.
12 points in the game for Danny Granger. A whistle. Boy, there's a lot of contact here, and the officials calling it tightly. Ed Malloy blows the foul against George Hill. That's his second personal foul.
But once again, when you're trying to generate offense off the dribble or setting screens, it's going to get physical. You know, everything the Orlando Magic are trying to do, run off screens, high pick and rolls. So there's going to be a lot of body banging. They have to do that.
Nelson refuses the screen, throws up the floater. And it's rebounded by West. Everybody's got that furrowed brow, that frown on right now, looking at the officials after every call.
Well, it's choppy and sloppy right now on both sides of the floor. And they're just trying to figure this game out. There's no real rhythm to the game right now.
Was cut by Granger, but couldn't make the jumper. Neither team shooting particularly well here in the third quarter so far. Orlando just 1 of 6. Turkoglu and Davis playing a 2-man game. Turkoglu, good ball fake. You know, Turkoglu, the former most improved player in the 2007-2008 season.
Gave him a little Rajon Rondo ball fake. Courtesy of Hakeem Olajuwon, I think, is the first guy I saw do that.
Granger with the drive-by, couldn't finish. And Hibbert wrapped up and fouled underneath. You know, pretty savvy with that ball here, Chris.
Absolute baseline. I'm not quite sure where he was going because he faked out to the stands, but it worked. Hibbert still went for it. A nice finish.
Well, Ito, a nice move a moment ago, and that foul was against Jameer Nelson. That was his third. Hill with the basketball for Indiana. Granger on the drive. Knocked out of bounds. It'll stay Pacer basketball. 13 seconds to go on the shot clock.
I mean, I'd like to say this is great defense.
Please do.
Both teams. I mean, we're coming in. Orlando's only averaging 77 points in the series.
David West missing from point-blank range after a nice move.
The Pacers are blazing 89 coming in, so it's been a struggle offensively, no question.
Open three for Ryan Anderson. Just what he's been dreaming of. There haven't been that many uncontested threes for Anderson as he cuts the lead to 1. He's got 11.
And he got his feet set, in rhythm. Those are the shots he knocks down with great consistency. And we're in a one-point game.
Hibbert with that jump hook over Glenn Davis. That's a shot he's become very proficient at. He's got 14.
And he's very comfortable shooting over the shorter Glenn Davis.
Davis into Hibbert and 1. That's the 4th foul on Hibbert.
Nice play here, nice pocket pass by Turkoglu, and Glenn Big Baby Davis gets into Hibbert's body, forces body contact, and able to finish.
Davis told us in our meeting prior to the game, Chris, says, hey, I'm going to get my shot blocked a bunch of times by Hibbert, but I'm not going to stop taking it to him.
I think there the difference was Roy Hibbert on the move as opposed to standing there stationary waiting for him at the rim. And Glenn Davis did a great job jumping into the body, drawing contact, and finishing.
The lead is down to 1. West on the post up against Anderson. They like that matchup. And this time West able to cash. David West, who's played in Western Conference Finals before with the New Orleans Hornets. Nelson splits it. Missing the floater, controlled by the Pacers. Hill on the run out. Rejected by Richardson. No goaltending call. Jay Rich throwing a little bit of boost. Transition defense, a strong point here by the Orlando Magic. Still showing a lot of fight. Down 2-1 in the series when we come back.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by the Kia Optima, official vehicle of the NBA.
All right, thanks a lot, Chris. Back here, it's a 3-point game. Pacers with the lead in the 3rd quarter. Let's take a look at our State of the Playoffs, brought to you by State Farm. In the Eastern Conference, who would have ever thought that the 76ers would have a chance to go up 3-1 Sunday on ABC? And now Joakim Noah with an injured ankle.
Well, without Derrick Rose, that's not the Chicago Bulls that we've watched the last few seasons.
People say they did well without Rose during the regular season, though. What's the difference?
Totally different, beating teams. As David West with the big finish over Earl Clark.
David West with a great scowl to match. He's got 12 points in the ball game, 5-point lead.
But the regular season, beating the team once and then get into a playoff series where the scouting report is so much more focused. Totally different story.
Hill back the other way for the Pacers. Granger with a clean look from downtown, and he knocks down the 3, just his 2nd one of the game. He was 5 out of 9 on threes in the previous contest, and now the lead back up to 8. Stan Van Gundy wants to talk it over after the 7-0 run for Indiana. They seem to have gotten their footing back as Orlando blew a couple of defensive assignments at the other end. Well, the Orlando Magic without Dwight Howard, their leading scorer and rebounder, folks. Only 2 other teams have gone into their playoffs, their postseason, without their leading scorer and rebounder. And those 2 other previous occasions, in '92, San Antonio without the Admiral David Robinson, and again San Antonio in 2000 without Tim Duncan. Both times those teams lost, so that trend not promising for the Magic. Clark fouled and one. Earl Clark will try and complete the 3-point play. History trending against Orlando. As you see, back in '92 without David Robinson, in 2000 without Tim Duncan. The Spurs unable to advance, and boy, a daunting task ahead for Orlando here, Chris.
But you look at those three guys there, you talk about scoring and rebounding. You're talking about ultimate superstar talent, you know, faces of their franchise. You take them out of the lineup, it's just a different team. There's no substitute for that.
Here's Hill out front. West pulling his way into Clark, and David West starting to feel real good about what he does on offense right now. He's got 14. Back to that graphic we just saw. All three of those guys, post players. Is it any different if your leading scorer you think is a wing player or a point guard?
Absolutely, because the guys in the post are going to attract double teams. It's going to loosen everything up for the perimeter players. And you're not just talking about post players. You're talking about David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and Dwight Howard, all Hall of Fame players. I mean, big-time superstars. But, yes, it is different when it's a post player. They can cause so much more havoc on the defense. And after those double teams, the scramble situation opens up so much opportunity for the perimeter guys.
7-point game, 5 on the shot clock for Jason Richardson. Has to launch it. And rebounded by David West. David West has had his fingerprints all over this game, especially in the third quarter. Granger with a show and go. Rebounded by Orlando. Magic on the move, but unable to get many fast break buckets in transition. Richardson.
That's exactly where they have to capitalize it. Turnovers or getting a stop on defense, get out in transition. That's where the easy looks are. Great timing. Pass by Jameer. Right back to the trailing Jason Richardson.
He's got 14. Indiana running its offense through David West right now, and that's a good decision, folks. Knocks down another one off a nice move to the bucket.
And at the other end, no secret what the Indiana Pacers, they like the matchup of David West posting up Earl Clark.
Barbosa trying to guard Richardson. He pulled a chair out from under him. And that's going to be a timeout called by Orlando. They'll get it. David West signed as a free agent with the Indiana Pacers, and right now paying huge dividends for Indiana. And that is a $1 million scowl, folks. Bernard King-esque almost, huh? Mr. and Mrs. Dwight Howard Sr. courtside here in Orlando. Dwight not playing, but folks, he is in theaters right now near you. Check this out.
God help us. Game on.
Give it to me. Get in there, porcupine. You let him score another touchdown. I got it. I'll fix it. Wait a minute. There you go. Penalty!
Penalty? What?
Forklift me up there. That's for talking to the ref.
Why are you on the ground? Oh!
Dwight got him with the old
That was
windmill
awesome.
thing, huh?
Nice follow through on the hammer to the head.
That's a flagrant one.
I want Dwight to use that follow through on his free throws.
Oh boy. Dwight healing right now after back surgery. His team down by 6. He has started his rehabilitation. He's actually out walking a couple of days ago out in California, where he's doing his recovery. Granger on the drive. West with the jumper. He's had a good third quarter, missing that time though. Now 4 of 7 in the period. Cross court wide open. Richardson, boy, hit the side of the backboard. But West was out of bounds. Earl Clark going to check back into the ball game.
Well, a corner 3 off the side of the backboard. Caught David West off. It did. Off guard and knocked him down. The deflection.
I'm not sure he was out of bounds. Of course, we have the benefit of replay. Magic to inbound. Down by 6. 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Well, at the very least, to look at it optimistically through an Orlando lens. Davis on the drive and one. At least you can say, oh, it's an offensive foul. At least they haven't had a collapse in the third quarter like the previous game.
Another pick and roll. Big baby. Looks like Adamson is stationary. Charge, a tough call for the Magic.
Not only that, that's his fourth personal foul.
And Mark, you bring up Dwight Howard. We wish him a speedy recovery. He's so missed in the third quarter. Indiana Pacers front line, Granger, West, and Hibbert. They've scored all 20 points this quarter for the Pacers.
That's been the trend for the series in the first three games, and it continues here. And the starters doing a nice job against Orlando starters. Collison off the inbound. West. This time they double team him and force the pass. Barbosa. 3 on the shot clock. West doesn't realize it and now has to go. It's been that type of quarter for David West. The lead up to 8. And he's having a game like he did in games 1 and 2. He's got 18. Magic unable to make up much ground here in the third. That's going to be a foul against the Pacers. Jason Richardson a lot more active in this game than he was in the previous contest. He's got 14. The fouls against Amundsen. There's a look at the productive front line for Indiana. David West leading the way.
And the impact of Dwight Howard offensively, but I think defensively maybe more so. I talked to Larry Bird before the game. He was saying during the regular season they really struggled and guys were just so reluctant to even take shots near the paint with Dwight Howard on the floor. So I mean his stats, and we all know what a superstar player is, but just his presence.
This Orlando team, a different one albeit, won the season series against the Pacers 3-1. 7-point game. Collison up court for the Pacers. Tyler Hansbrough in the ball game for Indiana now. West is double teamed. Good ball movement. Collison in the corner, and he cashes in with the long ball. A 10-point lead for Indiana.
Great possession there by the Pacers. Unselfish, great ball movement. Darren Collison knocking down the open three-point shot.
Anderson rebounded by David West.
Bench has played great tonight for the Indiana Pacers. At both times they've come in, played with great energy, good defense.
Collison kicks it out to David West. Little heat check, and it's all hot, all good.
Heat check
for the Pacers.
David West is on fire. The check.
12-point lead with 18 seconds to go in the third. Indiana trying to go up 3-1 in this series. Nelson going to run it down. Game clock and shot clock almost in sync. Hansbrough on the switch. Underneath, and they throw it away with 2.3 to go here in the period. West. Hansbrough will not get it off in time. But what a period it's been for the Indiana Pacers. They closed the period out on an 11-1 run. And David West breaks out in the third period with 12 points and has 20 for the game. The Indiana Pacers trying to move up 3-1 in the series. Granger doing his part, and D. West right now the best on the floor.
To attack all night long off the dribble. 12 points in the third quarter. What can you do in the fourth to get back in this game?
I don't know. We got to make some shots, but we got to be able to contain David West a little bit too.
The interior, the front line is really tough to contain.
They're wearing us out. There's no, when we try double teaming, they're hitting threes. So.
Good luck, Stan.
Well, back in ready here for the start of the fourth quarter. Orlando facing a 12-point deficit and facing a potential 3-1 deficit in the series. West. That one a little bit of a force. Orlando got to within 2 points at 62-60 at one point. Then got stuck. Turkoglu on the miss. Collison on the move. Hansbrough, he got rejected by Anderson. Hansbrough back out. Now Barbosa with 7 on the shot clock. Got a mismatch against the taller Anderson. He settles for the jumper. And a bad one.
And Mark, that third quarter score was 27-17, the Pacers.
Anderson with the 3 off the mark.
And David West scored 12 himself in that quarter.
David West was real prolific. Got it going. Got into a nice groove. Collison gets the screen from West. Drives in and is fouled by Hedo Turkoglu. Let's listen in to Frank Vogel during that last break.
Playing for each other. You're scary good when you do it. Okay, but we got 12 minutes right now. We got to keep doing it. What we've done to this point means nothing. We need a strong fourth quarter. We need a strong fourth quarter.
George with the miss, and Hansbrough chasing it down. And Hansbrough with an easy one. This is a team that for most of the year has really played for each other, and despite the fact, like a lot of teams this year, they've been fatigued. Vogel saying that in the last 3.5 weeks of the season, they never had back-to-back days off. Davis with the slam.
But the Indiana Pacers depth also helps to maintain the maximum effort. And tonight, great team defense.
Collison off the screen and finishes at the rim.
The Magic are shooting 34% from the field, only 30% from the three-point line. And coming in, I thought they'd have to make at least a dozen threes.
Boy, the third quarter has been the defining quarter in the last 3 games of this series. Today, Indiana outscoring Orlando by 10.
But to me, that's the lack of depth on the Orlando Magic roster, but also the way they have to play takes so much energy out of you just to get a decent look. You know, you're running pick and rolls, you're running side pick and rolls, off the dribble, splitting double teams just to get a look at the basket.
Anderson on the drive. A whistle, and that's going to be an offensive foul against Ryan Anderson. You know, Orlando has won 56 games per year under Stan Van Gundy for the last 4 seasons. As we take one more look at this offensive foul.
Like he was moving a little bit to the baseline side. I'm a bad guy to ask, though, because I'm really not a big supporter of the charge. I think once you beat a guy off the dribble, contest the shot and play on.
You're a scorer, though. You'd say that.
Absolutely. I'm just not into giving credit for falling down.
George with the pull-up jump shot. Tipped up and right back to the Pacers. George with a nice dime to Hansbrough, who lost the handle.
I like that defense. Deflect the ball, get a steal, and get out on the open floor.
And Redick fouled by Paul George, and now J.J. Redick,
little Duke UNC.
Picked up on that quickly there, partner.
Yeah.
Hansbrough never one to back down and likes the physical game. Looks like this tee's going to be only on Redick. I didn't see Ed Malloy signal one on Hansbrough. We talked about it earlier that Hansbrough not a starter this year in the playoffs and had a big impact last year in the playoffs, especially in that Chicago series. Coming off the bench and being an important part of that bench crew in this series.
But you know one thing about Tyler Hansbrough, if he's starting, coming off the bench, practice, shoot around, he's going all out all the time.
Vogel telling me a little bit earlier that his game hasn't taken that step forward that he would have liked. And he was a victim, like many young players were, of not having training camp and summer league with the lockout. And there you see the after whistle activity again. But this team is committed to Tyler Hansbrough, and they let David West know that when they signed him.
is fourth.
And Hansbrough was still going to get his minutes.
A technical foul on number 7, J.J. Redick.
So the technical foul is against J.J. Redick, and that's why Collison is shooting right now. That foul, the personal foul, was actually against Paul George, not against Hansbrough. And a chorus of derisive comments coming from the fans here. Approaching 9 minutes to go. Orlando pretty much fighting for its playoff lives here right now. And an offensive foul called against Tito Turkoglu as Leandro Barbosa looks at him and says, what was up with that? That's the third on Turkoglu.
Offensive foul number 15, Tito Turkoglu is third.
Well, that was a foul, or it's a violation to the screen outside.
The rules say you're not allowed to
screen out of bounds. Exactly, on the baseline. But once again, the Orlando Magic, they got to do anything to try and free their guys up, because they just have no mismatches. They got no inside presence.
Collison underneath, probing the defense, keeping his dribble alive. West alone on the baseline, and David West with that feathery, soft touch.
And at the other end, the Pacers create offense. If they want to just drop it down to David West. Nice little pick and pop there. Easy look for the Pacers. Frustration setting in for the Magic.
17-point lead. Davis with the miss. An 18-3 run for the Pacers here. Collison tied up by Turkoglu. Timeout on the floor. Right now they're down on their backs, but not quite out. Nail-biting time for the Magic.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by Marvel's The Avengers. Assemble in theaters. Now playing everywhere. And Mazda. We believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building.
Person it means much more to me.
Jameer Nelson, one of many players really connecting with the community. Stan Van Gundy still impassioned on the sidelines, averaging 56 wins a year for the last 4 years. Not many teams have done better. In fact, only the Lakers and Spurs and Boston have a higher winning percentage in that time span. But one has to wonder right now, and the question begs, is this the last home game that Stan Van Gundy will coach for the Orlando Magic, as Danny Granger, back in the ball game now, gets a layup? There's been so much tumult this year that has transpired. Dwight Howard, will he stay or will he be traded? Will he go? Will he forego his free agency? He finally decided that he was going to stay, as Glenn Davis gets the dunk. And then after that, the revelation that Stan saying that he knew that Dwight wanted him to be fired. Although he underscored it really didn't matter if he wanted him fired. But all of that seems to be manifesting itself and coming out right now. I mean, they're down 2-1, on the brink of going down 3-1. And as a player, Chris, how do you perform under these kind of circumstances?
Well, day to day, you try and block it out, all the drama, and you try and focus on the job at hand. But at some point, it does come to a head, and frustration builds up, the uncertainty. Jameer Nelson gets an uncontested layup. And you look at the teams, probably the total opposite with the Indiana Pacers. No distractions, all about basketball. San Antonio's like that. The teams that are winning, the first and foremost focus is on the team, winning basketball games, and keep all the drama and sideshow out of the locker room.
Collison has it rim out.
And Stan Van Gundy, whatever people's different feelings about him, I know this. He's a great coach, and while he's been here, they've won 60% of their games. So, to me, are you going to find a better guy or just make a move? Now, if you're just going to make a move, I don't see the sense in that. Because the guy, he's a winning, and they've been a winning combination. Dwight Howard has had some incredible seasons under Stan Van Gundy.
They made it to the NBA Finals just 3 years ago. Redick with the runner in the lane before losing to the Los Angeles Lakers, but wasn't that long ago they were in the NBA Finals.
But over time, all those different things, all those the drama, it adds up, and it does not help your basketball team. It takes focus away from the most important thing, and that's going out there and playing against the other team, not playing against yourself. You need all that energy to combat the other team.
13-point mountain to climb for Orlando. Collison on the baseline. Rebounded by Davis. Approaching the midway point here of the fourth quarter. Big Baby working against Hibbert. Took it right into his body. Drew the contact and no call. It'll be Orlando basketball out of bounds. And Davis looking a little bit winded there. Of course, we mentioned that he spent 6 hours in that hyperbaric oxygen chamber that he has at home. I asked him, Chris, if he rents or he bought it. He purchased it. It's all his. He might be spending some time in that after this game.
I bet you he will. There was nice defense there by Hibbert. Glenn Davis tried to take him off the dribble. He moved his feet and then met him at the rim for the block.
Redick off the screen. Davis up and high.
Relentless, going right back at him. You blocked me once, I'm coming back and going to dunk on you the next time.
Orlando.
Glenn Big Baby Davis.
Magic trying to make a push. The pick and roll game again. And this time, Big Baby with a big finish. How much more do they have left? We'll find out when we come back. Glenn Davis's daughter, Amari, 20 months old, might be making another appearance at the post-game news conference the way this one's going.
She is beautiful. Dude, a lot of personality, just like her dad, and could be a future head coach, because most head coaches, after they lose, that's exactly what they do with the stat sheet. Roll it up and throw it.
She must have seen that somewhere.
Absolutely.
David West with the miss. Orlando potentially here with one last gasp effort. Down by 11, Davis muscling and stepping through. Big Baby with a big effort. And the lead is down to 9.
Nice agility to avoid the defender, go on the other side of the rim. Great finish by Glenn Davis.
Ranger with a quick trigger. And the ball knocked out of bounds by Barbosa.
Orlando Magic starting to show a little more energy here. Any stop, get out in transition, find open looks out there. They're on a 6-0 run right now.
Off the inbound, Richardson with the layup. And it's down to a 7-point game.
And they're playing hard for Stan Van Gundy. Straight through.
West at the elbow. Gets the ISO. Good defense by Davis. And the Magic on the move. Richardson, layup. And here come Orlando. A 10-0 run. In the immortal words of Glenn Davis, we all we got. That's the battle cry. Back after this. Orlando on a big run to cut the lead to 5 with 4:40 to go. Folks, ESPN brings you 2 National League East matchups on Sunday and Monday. Sunday night at 8, it's the Phillies against the Nationals. Then Monday at 7, it's those same Phillies against the New York Metropolitans. Both games available on ESPN, ESPN3, also live on WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. Monday Night Baseball presented by USAA. Let's see what the Pacers do out of this timeout. Who do you go to if you're Frank Vogel?
I like David West matchup on Turkoglu.
Hill open on the baseline. Got it.
But I'll take a wide open jump shot from George Hill. Nice pass by Danny Granger. Fourth quarter mark, Orlando Magic 8 for 12, shooting 67% from the field after struggling all night long. And the Pacers now 5 of 16 in the quarter.
Davis gives it back to Redick. Good give and go. Davis whistle that in. Wow. Glenn Davis willed that into the bucket. Can the Pacers close out the feisty Magic here? Under 4 minutes to go. Hill against Nelson. Turkoglu knocked it away. Redick on the move. Tipped in. Turkoglu.
The crowd is back. The Magic's back in the game. We're in a one-possession game.
Hill with a quick three. Got it to go.
And a dagger by George Hill.
The second consecutive jumper for Hill. And the lead is back up to 6. Hill, of course, with that big game experience coming over from the San Antonio Spurs and NBA Finals of Bast. Redick for 3. Davis inside with the board. Richardson. Oh, he missed everything.
And again, nice decision by Big Baby. Got the offensive board, was surrounded by Hibbert and West. Made a nice decision to kick it out for an open look for Jason. Just couldn't knock it down.
George goes inside to Hibbert. Hands it off to Granger. Great passing by the Pacers. That, in a nutshell, is Indiana basketball. And the lead is swollen back up to 8. Granger with 19 and a timeout called by Stan Van Gundy. The committee approach working for Granger and his teammates. Larry Bird put it all together, and coming up next, the Los Angeles Clippers with a playoff game at home for the first time in 6 years. Blake Griffin leading away when we come back. Orlando closed to within 3 on a 14-2 run. Indiana countering now and leading by 8. Folks, don't forget, it all starts tomorrow once again at 12:30 Eastern Time on ABC. Bulls 76ers followed by the Heat and the Knicks. And they're saying now that Joakim Noah is doubtful for Game 4. More NBA coming up after this one on ESPN. Clippers in action against the Grizzlies. Richardson free for 3. Got it! Great play out of the timeout by Stan Van Gundy.
Beautiful play drawn up and great execution, and it always looks better when Jason Richardson knocks down the open three-point shot.
West posting up Turkoglu. Paul George for 3. Rebounded by Orlando. West defending Turkoglu. Under 2 minutes to go. Hibbert shows on the screen, left Turkoglu open. Davis with the mid-range. Oh, halfway down and out of bounds. And Orlando basketball with 1:39 to go.
Nice possession there, good look. Just in and out for Big Baby Davis. They're going to have to take that shot every time. It's a good look.
And he is sucking wind right now.
He should be. He's working his tail off.
Redick inside to Davis. And he's fouled going up. Glenn Davis with 10 points in this period. Davis at the free throw line. 71% free throw shooter in the postseason. And last foul was against Granger. Hey, coming up next on ESPN, Memphis at the Clippers. They're saying Caron Butler is going to start in that game despite that injured hand. And then tonight on TNT, Oklahoma City against Dallas, San Antonio, Utah. Tomorrow, it'll be Chicago at Philadelphia, Miami at New York on ABC. Davis cashes in on a pair.
But here, Mark, we have a one-possession game. Magic, never say die. Gritty performance here.
Hill against Nelson. They dump it into West. Nelson! And he's going to be whistled for a foul. An incredulous, pained look on Stan Van Gundy's face. They still have a foul to give, Orlando. That was the foul to give.
Questionable at best.
West posting up Turkoglu. Backed him down. Got it back. And here comes Orlando. A chance to cut it to 1 or tie with a 3. And Turkoglu calls for a timeout after David West knocked it away. Orlando down to its last gasp. It's all about effort down the stretch. West with active hands and Turkoglu with a lunge to retain possession in the timeout. Trying to point towards a victory and staying alive and evening it at 2-2. Frank Vogel in the huddle, strategizing his team with a full and a 20-second timeout remaining. Meanwhile, Stan Van Gundy and the Magic with no timeouts remaining with 57.4 seconds to go. They faced a double-digit deficit just a couple of minutes ago. And then Davis and Richardson catching fire. Turkoglu with a key tip in as well. 15 on the shot clock. Here's Nelson. The side pick and roll with Turkoglu. 7 on the shot clock. Pacers switch out. Richardson over Hibbert. Rebounded by West. And West stepped out of bounds, claiming he was pushed. So Orlando gets it back. What'd you make of that last possession in that shot,
Not
Chris?
too bad. They ran a side pick and roll and a flare for Jason Richardson and a repick. Got a decent look again. Wouldn't mind him attacking Roy Hibbert off the dribble to get to the paint and create something else, not just settle for the 3.
Redick for 3 for the tie. Great awareness by J.J. Redick here.
And great patience. The ball fake. Got himself set behind the 3-point line. Great balance. There we go. Fly by. Up and out. Backspin. Follow through. Nothing but the bottom. J.J. Redick. 8-0 run for the Magic to tie this bad boy up.
Now Indiana using one of its 2 remaining timeouts. If you're Frank Vogel, what are you saying to your team right here, and what are your options at the offensive end now? They've got 1 20-second timeout remaining. Plenty of time left, 38.7.
They can get a quick 2 for 1, but what they've been doing is going down to David West. The thing I've noticed is J.J. Redick again. Beautiful head fake. Great composure. That's a big-time shot.
Good screen by Glenn Davis to set him free.
Look at that follow-through. Picture perfect. Out of the textbook. But just the patience and poise to shake Paul George, an athletic defender. But I was saying, David West, they've been going down to him in the post. He's been going so quick. Locate where the defense is. If they're going to clear, they're going to come double. Take your time a little bit. See where that defense is coming from. Last time he went so quickly, got himself into trouble and got himself in a traveling violation.
This Orlando team trailed by as much as 19. Hibbert. Davis all over him up top. Orlando's defense disrupting this play. 10 on the shot clock. Hill out top against Nelson. And West calls for it. 4 on the shot clock. Hill launches. Granger gets the rebound. It didn't hit. That should have been a shot clock violation. That did not hit the rim. He was wide left on the attempt. When the dust clears on this, Orlando should have possession with about 15 seconds to go.
Shot clock violation.
Missed everything. Granger got the rebound. But there should have been no reset.
And once again, Mark, they went to David West. He went so quickly without locating the defense. And wound up turning it over. But I think this is clearly a shot clock violation. I don't think there's any question. Maybe
they're going to go to the monitor here and
maybe see how much time is on the clock. But it's clearly a shot clock violation.
Let's help them out a little bit here. This is what they're going to be looking at, or something like this. Clearly, it missed everything.
Clock awareness so important. You know, Danny Granger gets the ball right there, can get it up there quick.
And this is helping out Orlando because Stan Van Gundy officially doesn't have any timeouts remaining, but he had time to draw one up here during this video review by the officiating crew. That is very definitive. I mean, he missed the rim. So now the question might be how much time they put back on the clock. Shot clock violation. The last time Orlando led, it was 16-13 with 3:25 to go in the first quarter. And they have another opportunity here. They're going to put another second back on the clock and make it 14.7 to go. A chance for the win on the last possession. They were down 19. Nelson out top. 4 to go. Takes on Barbosa. It'll count, and he comes up short. And we'll go to overtime. After 48 trying minutes, we'll play 5 more. Indiana unable to close out Orlando. And the Magic live to fight 5 more minutes.
And once again in a high pick and roll, Jameer Nelson drives hard to his left, couldn't get all the way to the rim, regathers. Just not enough. Short. We're heading into overtime. Could not get past by Barbosa. Raises up for the win. Just short.
And the Pacer bench with a defensive stop. Stan Van Gundy and the Orlando Magic trying to avoid back-to-back home losses for the first time since 2010 when they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Boston Celtics. Mark Jones courtside along with Hall of Famer Chris Mullin. Chris, who, if anyone, has momentum going into the overtime period here?
I think the Orlando Magic have the emotional momentum, the crowd, and they're back into it and excited. But I'm still concerned with, with the Indiana Pacers, their depth and their front line. The longer this game goes, I think the depth will wear on the Orlando Magic squad.
What does it say about the Pacers' inability, and I alluded to it, their inability to close out Orlando late in the game? They had a double-digit lead. I mean, the elite teams are able to do that, and Indiana wasn't able to do that here, correct?
Well, their offense has struggled really throughout the series. They had a few good, decent games, but they're only scoring 89 a game. Their offense, as I said earlier, has been at best sloppy and choppy. That worked to Orlando Magic's advantage to get into overtime. Let's see if they can fight them off. I think the Pacer front line will show up big here in the overtime.
Indiana controls the tip. Barbosa starts the overtime. Goes into West. He wheels on Turkoglu and right by that mash man for the bucket.
Again, caught and went right away. That time got all the way to the rim. Previous 2 possessions, they tried that. He went a little too early, and the defense got their hand on the ball. Forced turnovers.
David West has 24 for the Pacers. Nelson and Davis in the 2-man game. Here's Redick off the pin down. couple ball fakes and draws the foul from Roy Hibbert. That's the 5th foul on Roy Hibbert. But it'll be side out. Orlando basketball.
Orlando Magic play with much better energy. Their cuts are crisper and faster. Play with a little bit of speed. Being very decisive.
Redick had to go halfway down. Great rebound. Davis couldn't finish and took it right away from Hibbert. Richardson for the lead. And Hill with the rebound.
Great hustle and energy by Glenn Davis. Just all over the place tonight.
He just ripped that ball out of the arms of Roy Hibbert.
And we'll see with Indiana Pacers again down to David West. One-on-one with Turkoglu.
He's going to work in the office right now. The turnaround and one. David West, the best on the block here in the late going. The fouls against J.J. Redick.
Big time strength. Fighting on the block there, David West. No denying him. Takes the hit with the finish off the glass.
West shooting 85% from the foul line in the playoffs. Comes up short.
And Mark, you told us pregame we have 4 or 5 guys that want the ball at the end of the game. Well, tonight, he's going to get it. He's getting it every possession. Give me the ball. I have Turkoglu. I'm going to score.
Davis sets the screen for Redick. Redick gets free and misses again. Rebounded by the Pacers. 4-point lead for Indiana. Meanwhile, they're underway in Los Angeles. The Clippers and the Grizzlies. That game coming up immediately after this one. Game currently going on ESPN News. David West against Turkoglu. And West trying to make more news, missing that time. And another possession for the Pacers. They're going to flatten it out for George Hill. And on the side pick and roll here with Granger. Open. And he knocks it down. The lead is up to 6. Indiana executing well here, Mully, in overtime.
Frontline scoring. In order to get that score, it was an offensive rebound that led to that score.
A 6-0 run to begin this overtime period. And Stan Van Gundy calls timeout. We're going to stay right here. Keep in mind that get a little more time in the overtime period. Meanwhile, they're underway, the Grizzlies and the Clippers. It's interesting that some Clippers players felt that they were quote-unquote punked. And that was a quote from them in the last game in losing in Memphis. That series at 1 apiece. This one at 2-1 in favor of the Pacers. Let's take a look at what's happened so far in our overtime period. They continue to call David West's number. It's working, Mully.
Absolutely. That's where they're mismatched. The Indiana Pacers like David West matched up with Hedo Turkoglu, and he's getting it done. And here Danny Granger springs free, and their other all-star, Danny Granger, delivers.
And David West was the first guy after they won their last game. He was the first one in the locker room amongst Granger, Hibbert, and his teammates to say, guys, let's not get too high over this win. We've got a lot more business at hand to take care of.
Well, Mark, you mentioned it. David West all night long has played with a scowl. He's here for business. He wants this game. And he was angry when it got into overtime. I'll tell you what, he came out in this overtime and has been dominant.
Now keep in mind, folks, this is a guy who is coming off of ACL surgery about 13 months ago. And he is back in full effect. 26 points and 12 rebounds. Orlando needs one here. Out of the timeout, it's Nelson. Anderson couldn't quite get open for 3. Davis with the screen for Nelson. 8 on the shot clock. Jameer into the paint. Redick. Richardson for 3. Got it! They ran it right down to the end of the shot clock.
Really good defense by the Pacers, but great patience
And a nice pass at the end of the shot clock by Redick.
Granger rebounded by Orlando and Davis. And a chance to make it a one-point game or tie with a three. That's going to be a kick ball against David West. Under 2 minutes to go in overtime. "15 seconds on the shot clock for the Magic. Well, they are setting some hard screens out there, Chris.
A lot of body bumping.
For the tie. Anderson with the rebound. Boy, Davis didn't even look at the bucket. Sets the screen instead. Here's Anderson. Nelson working against Hill. They get the switch onto West now. Nelson on the blow-by. Gets the layup and one.
Nice read by Jameer. He's got David West, the big man, instead of taking a jump shot. Takes him off the dribble. And looking for 3 points the old-fashioned way with the layup and the foul. Jameer Nelson at the free throw line. Good read there, though. He got the switch. David West, a big man out on the perimeter.
And that foul was against Hibbert. His 6th personal foul. He fouls out, Chris, with a double-double, 14 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 blocks. But a strong move by Nelson. Despite that 19-point deficit earlier, Orlando has battled back to tie it at 95. And Frank Vogel will call timeout. Does the game change significantly for the Pacers without Hibbert in the ballgame now?
Absolutely. I think it changes for the Orlando Magic. A play that we just saw is likely to happen more often, be it Jameer Nelson or Big Baby on the pick and roll, to be able to get to the rim and lay it up without Roy Hibbert's shot blocking ability. It's a huge plus for the Orlando Magic to have Roy Hibbert out of the game.
Orlando with a full of 20 remaining, 1 foul to give. 2 key plays in overtime by the Magic. Good patience on offense here before Richardson knocked down the 3. And then Jameer Nelson caught David West in the switch and drew the foul, which put Hibbert on the bench for the rest of the day.
And I think with Roy Hibbert out of the game, that situation can present itself again. Jameer's going to have much more confidence to take it all the way to the rim, as opposed to we saw right before the overtime pulling up for that jump shot.
Jason Richardson has found his groove again. 9 of 18 from the field. And a big three-pointer a few moments ago, shooting 42% from downtown in the playoffs. Tied at 95, Pacer basketball. They've already let 1 game slip away. That was game 1 on their home court. They led by 19 here. Hill on the drive. Got it back and draws the foul on Nelson. Orlando couldn't corral the loose ball, and Hill made them pay.
Foul number 14.
Fouls against Jameer Nelson, his 4th. And now George Hill will go to the free throw line.
His 4th, first in the last 2 minutes.
Well defended there by Davis.
George Hill shooting 2.
Hill at the foul line, an 88% free throw shooter in the postseason. Talked about him playing many big games in the NBA Finals as a member of the San Antonio Spurs, bringing valuable experience to the Pacers. Neither team now with a foul to give.
We got to learn from one of the best of all time, Tony Parker. Pretty good guy to learn from. And Coach Popovich.
2-point lead for Indiana. Trying to close out this feisty and belligerent Orlando team right now. Nelson on the drive. Probes and comes out the other end. Gets the switch on Hansborough. And he turns it over. And Hill stepped out of bounds. Would he have done better just throwing it up?
I was thinking just throw it long, high, eat some clock, and maybe Barbosa runs it down. He was ahead of the field.
He plays it safe. It's Orlando basketball. Nelson, Davis. Great move over Granger. And it's tied at 97.
And that's exactly where you miss Roy Hibbert. Those are baskets Big Dave was having trouble finishing. Hibbert out of the game. Now we're in a tie basketball game.
Under a minute to go. They got the switch. There's a mismatch with Granger and Nelson. Pacers can't get it to him, and we have a whistle. And Frank Vogel calls a 20-second timeout. They are out of 20-second timeouts. They got a full remaining, and Larry Bird upset about something.
You know what Larry's thinking? What? This game's not that hard. Just give me the ball. What are you doing? Don't worry about plays. Put the ball in my hand. I force a double team. I make a great pass. Or hit a fadeaway jump shot.
That's what he used to tell Casey Jones,
here.
Right?
Exactly. Give me the ball. Get out of the way. I got it.
You're looking at the architect of this Indiana Pacer team as it's presently constituted. Some key moves during the offseason. Signed David West as a free agent, and that draft day deal acquiring George Hill.
And he's done it all. Superstar, incredible, legendary player. He was a great coach. I played for 3 years. He was a one. Look at his record, incredible winning record, and he's been a great front office guy. So the legend continues. The hit from French Lick.
Well, they need to stop right here. Actually, Indiana ball, pardon me, and Orlando needs to stop. 6 seconds on the shot clock for the Pacers. West out top, working against Davis. Hill on the baseline, gets it to go. He parked himself on the baseline and took a nice feed from West.
And that is a tough shot. That's one of the toughest shots in basketball. It's not a jump shot. It's not a layup.
Nelson. Hansbrough switches. Davis with the mismatch underneath. Oh, what a shot! Big baby! Big clutch! Tied at 99. And the Pacers are going to play. They're not going to call a timeout. George Hill working against Jameer Nelson. For the win. Whistle. And we get a foul on Jameer Nelson with 2.2 to go. With 2.2 to go. That's going to put George Hill on the free throw line. Wow. I'd love to take another look at exactly where the foul occurred. And Mike Callahan signaled foul. And Hill, an 88% free throw shooter for 2. One more look at it. Well, he got that left arm in there and reached in.
Arms tangled up. Yeah, you got to keep your hands out, move your feet. I thought the clock was running down kind of late for the Indiana Pacers to go. So that was a tough foul at that point in the shot clock.
Hill makes both. And Stan Van Gundy calls timeout.
Clutch free throws. Tough foul.
Orlando is out of timeouts, and with 2.2, it might not matter. Stan drawing up his most important play of the season when we come back. Back in Orlando, and Indiana leading by 2, trying to go up 3 games to 1. But a critical foul called against Jameer Nelson on this last possession as Hill tried to turn the corner. Mully?
And it's a tough foul because Jameer Nelson has help coming in Ryan Anderson. In worst case scenario, you live with Leandro Barbosa raising up for this 3-point shot. You don't want to foul in that situation with the clock running down. George Hill's in a desperate situation, and you basically put him on the free throw line for 2 easy points.
Here's a timeout situation. Now, if you're Stan Van Gundy, you're looking for the 2 as a priority, a big priority. Maybe a 3 here with Redick and Richardson on the floor. And
well, I think the last few plays they've run, Stan Van Gundy is very aggressive coming out of side out of bounds. You're going to see a lot of picking, and I look for maybe a catch and shoot play. 2 or 3, doesn't really matter. They need a good look, but I think the main thing is be aggressive, set good screens. You don't have too much time to play around if it's a 2 or 3. When you free up, catch it rhythm, we know it's probably going to be a jump shot.
Yep. Well, the guy that's put them in a position to even have a chance here has been Glenn Davis. A few moments ago, making a circus shot while falling to the court. He's earned everything, and most of them coming in the 4th quarter.
He's been a beast. He's not been big baby. He's been a man.
And in the overtime period, making some shots, contorting his body in, over, through, and around various Pacers.
And taking full advantage of Roy Hibbert not being in the game and getting to the rim and finishing. He's had a great series, wonderful game tonight.
Hey, remember, just 3.5 weeks ago, he wasn't even a starter on this team. And now playing a leading role for the Magic. His team down with 2.2 seconds to go. They've got some good 3-point shooters that they brought out before the last time out in Richardson and Ryan Anderson, who shot almost 40% from downtown on the regular season. J.J. Redick as well. But you don't necessarily need the 3.
Well, a lot of times the best way to free up your shooters is have them be the screeners and then get screened. So you run a screen-to-screener action. All 5 Magic players very capable.
Glenn Davis going to watch this one from the bench.
Of making a 3-point shot. So all 5 guys, if you switch, you come back.
Turkoglu to inbound for Orlando, down by 2. 2.2 to go. Redick comes off the screen. And they blow the play up, the Pacers do, defending it well. And Orlando uses its final timeout. They're 20.
Well, the Pacers have David West guarding the ball out of bounds. And 4 perimeter defenders, all capable of switching everything. So they don't have to show and run into screens. You just avoid it, switch, deny. See Paul George, Danny Granger, switch, deny, switch again, deny out here. Can't get the ball in.
Not every team has that luxury, though, right?
No, but Frank Vogel talked about that. We interviewed him at the first quarter. His bench perimeter players, they great athleticism, great length, and all capable. Hill, Granger, Paul George, and Leandro Barbosa will switch everything. You just got to be careful when you switch. Don't let the back course, the slip for a backdoor layup.
Turkoglu set to inbound again, and this time Glenn Davis comes back in after looking on helplessly just a few moments ago. Let's do it again.
A bigger screener.
Sets the screen, slips the screen. They go into Davis, gets it off, and the Pacers win it. They ride into Orlando and take 2. What a game. Glenn Davis had a contested look at it and well defended by the Pacers. They made him work for that last look.
Nice wrinkle, little pick, and the slip. Tough to finish off over the length athleticism of Paul George.
David West leading the way, and George Hill, a good closer down the stretch as well. West with 26 as the Pacers go up 3-1 in the series. The final 101-99. Coming up next, Memphis against the Clippers in a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Right now, we're going to send it to Dave Pasch and John Barry in Los Angeles. Guys?